Hello everybody, and welcome back to the Let's Play series for the Kingdom of Jerusalem in Europa Universalis 4. I am AlzaboHD, and welcome back. Got a great episode for you guys today. This is episode 5. Again, sorry for the delay between these several episodes, I suppose. There's been about a 2 or 3 week lull and the production of this series. And I know a lot of you guys want to see where this Kingdom of Jerusalem run takes me, so I'm happy to continue the series. The thing is that, you know, Overwatch, Stellaris, and all sorts of games came out recently, and to be honest, I haven't had a lot of time to record in between schoolwork and checking out these new games. But now that that's all done, now that these games are out and I've been able to play around with them a little bit, I am ready to kind of get back into this series. I hope you guys, you know, weren't too upset about the, I guess, brief hiatus that we've had. And again, just like the previous episodes, this episode is going to be sped up quite a bit. This beginning, I guess, part of this episode, as you guys can see, there's no war or anything like that, so it's in peacetime, which means that we are going to keep it sped up. So, what's great is that we have just converted our kingdom into the Kingdom of Jerusalem. Of course, this is no longer the Knights Hospitaller, or Knights Hospitalier, I can never pronounce that right. But anyways, we have now formed the Kingdom of Jerusalem, which is fantastic. Got that great kind of like mustard white color instead of the, in my opinion, cooler kind of light blue color of the Knights. Again, Europa Universalis is a game of painting the world your own color, and to be honest, if it wasn't for the fact that the Knights kind of had a weird name, I would probably stay as them as opposed to forming Jerusalem. But with that being said, Jerusalem has some great ideas, including, I believe, a base 2 or 3% missionary speed increase, which is going to help us convert all of these Saracen Muslim provinces into the, I guess, Catholic religion. Right, so anyways, I've had a few questions in the last episode, namely pertaining as to how I am fabricating claims without establishing a spy network. Well, I'm glad you asked this question. Now, I've actually answered the question in the previous video in the comment box, but because I think a lot of you guys are maybe a little bit confused as to what is going on here and why I don't have any sailors in the top left of the screen, this game was actually recorded, I believe, right before Mare Nostrum. Mare Nostrum came out, which means that it is running patch 1.15.1. So everything you see in this game, or rather in this series, is a tad outdated. It's not like incredibly outdated or anything. I'm just 1 or 2 patches behind, I guess, the main release. So basically, you can fabricate claims without establishing spy networks. You don't have sailors to make, you know, your navy. I don't really know exactly how this system works in Mare Nostrum. I'm going to do a series, of course, with Mare Nostrum or whatever DLC comes out after that as soon as this series is done. So gives me a little bit of extra motivation here to kind of go through my hard drive and kind of speed this up a little bit and do some commentary. So with that being said, as you guys can see, we've got quite a bit of a rebel problem in the central, I guess, Arabian Peninsula. There's a lot of people who are a bit upset that we have taken this land for ourselves, for the, I guess, French noble lords of Jerusalem here. Of course, we have some, I believe, can't read it from here. Looks like we have some Hijazi separatists, though. So we have to make sure that we take them out as fast as we can. Of course, the problem being that our manpower is absolutely meager. I mean, if you look at this, we've got a manpower of, I believe, close to 2,000, and our army is just absolutely tiny and pathetic. I would like to start a war for conquest very soon to connect our 2 provinces here between the Arabian Peninsula and the Levant. Of course, you guys see that province Man that blocks, I guess, our natural progression there. So we will go to war against the Mamluks very, very soon, as soon as we kind of get our shit together here in the Arabian Peninsula. So that's always something that we have to work on first, right? It's consolidating the separatist movement. We got a new king, it looks like. King something, can't even read it. The thing is when I'm commentating over these sped up Let's Play series, I'm actually doing this in Sony Vegas, so I can't exactly read everything like you guys can. The quality for the preview, I guess, is not too good because, again, I have not yet rendered the video yet, so everything I'm seeing right now is like, I guess, your equivalent of 480p. It's not very good, so if I make any mistakes with the names, my apologies. But we do have a new king. The last one keeled over and died, so that's always a very sad thing. Now, something I would like some input from you guys is tell me in the comment box below if this is too sped up for you guys. Right now, we are running at 3 times speed. Of course, this is peacetime, so we're just, whacking these rebels as they pop up. So nothing too interesting, no war as of yet. But do not worry, there will be 2 wars in this episode. We got one coming up in the next, I believe, minute or 2, if you want to go ahead and skip ahead. So right now I've been working on some kind of diplomatic work. Of course, we are working on kind of allying some major players in Western Europe, gearing up for the inevitable fight against the Ottomans, of course. So we need to make sure that Venice, Austria, and Hungary are tapped off. I believe I'm still allied with Venice at this point in time, although you do have to give me some credit here. It's been maybe 3 weeks since I've last recorded this, particular, I guess, episode. So it's been quite some time for me to kind of forget absolutely everything that's been going on, unfortunately. Give me 1 second. Alright, so I'm back. And you are not on crack. That fast music you hear in the background is actually a playlist that I've been playing in the background when I've been playing, I guess, the episode to record it. It's like some sort of medieval playlist on YouTube. If you guys like it, I can always put it in the About section of the video. But normally it is not this fast. It kind of sounds almost like a leprechaun playing a flute, but he's like, on some sort of like amphetamine. I don't really know. I guess we're using some creativity over here in Jerusalem. Music is always very interesting. Of course, I couldn't find like any like really, I guess, Jerusalem-ish music. I mean, of course, there's like, music that comes from Israel, music that comes from Palestine, and then there's just like generic medieval music. I couldn't really figure out what exactly I wanted to put, so we're just going to roll with this. Of course, a quick glimpse at our idea group before we declare war on the Mamluks. Now, as I've been saying earlier, the problem with the Mamluks is that they have this little slice of territory that separates our 2 main provinces here, between Arabia and the Levant, right here, this province of Man. So we're going to declare war and take it, and with any luck, well, I guess I already know the outcome, but to keep the suspense going, with any luck, we'll be able to fully annex the Mamlukian state. Of course, right now, they are very, very weak. As you guys can see, they have like 1,000 men and 1,000 cannon, as opposed to, I believe, our almost 18,000 man armies. So we should absolutely slice through them. The problem, though, is I believe they're allied with somebody. I'm going to pull that up here in a second, taking a look at the diplomatic situation here in a minute. So we're going to work on building up our navy a little bit, because our navy is absolutely tiny and pathetic. We need to make sure that we kind of push out and recruit some more light ships so that we can increase our trade revenue. That's always a very important thing, while simultaneously fabricating claims in Timurids. Of course, Timurids are more than likely going to blow up very, very soon. Maybe even the Ottomans will declare war on them. Hint, hint. So I need to make sure that I have those claims up and fabricated so that I can declare war on them later. Looks like, is that Yemen? Yeah, that's Yemen. So Yemen was the co-belligerent in this war. So before we even think about taking out the Mamluks, it's important for us to take out their little, friend over here. This will actually net us a few provinces too, so not too bad of a deal, if you ask me. And I've slowed down the war footage a little bit. The peace footage in this particular episode is going to be 3 times sped up, whereas the war footage is going to be double speed. So again, let me know in that comment box below if you guys like it. This almost seems like a normal speed to me, as we kind of slice and dice our way across the Yemeni plateau. I'm not really exactly sure what type of geographical formations are over here besides desert, desert, and more desert. Of course, this is not a place that I would really want to find myself living in right now. There is a proxy war, as I speak, between Saudi Arabia and Iran in Yemen. Or maybe that's in Oman, actually. I might have misspoken. So not exactly a good place to live. Very, very unstable in real life, as well as this particular Let's Play series. So again, someplace I don't want to be when these crusaders come knocking on my door, spreading the word of Jesus. We need to make sure that we avoid that whenever possible. So again, we are taking some losses here. We've lost, I think, a territory or 2 to the Mamluks, but that's okay. They're currently occupied on the citadel outside of Alexandria, so they've got a little ways to go before they get anywhere near our heartland, so no worries there. We just need to make sure that we finish off Yemen before we even turn our attention to them. In the background, I've got some awesome Palestinian music. Again, I wasn't sure exactly what to play. Again, this is Jerusalem, so in real life, of course, there is no Catholic French Kingdom of Jerusalem, so I had to make do a little bit. I'm kind of using a combination of like medieval theological music and some Palestinian music as well. Always very interesting things to check out. Again, I can put that information in the About section if you guys want to listen to it without listening to it at double speed, of course, because it sounds absolutely ridiculous at this point. Burgundy just had a civil war too. Don't want to be Burgundy right now. They're probably going to get inherited by France and Austria. I'll take a look at them in a second. But as you guys can see, Yemen is out of the war. We are going to go ahead and take some provinces from them. Let's go ahead and see what we can do with the war score over here. So we're not quite able to take all of the provinces, but we're able to take a pretty good portion. Of course, keep in mind that every province we take, we're going to have to core, and admin points are a bit scarce. Of course, we have like, I think 536 or something like that, so that should be okay for the time being. Of course, the most recent patch in this version as well, it kind of tells you how much admin power it will take to core these provinces, and they're all dirt poor. They're all like one base tax, so it should be pretty easy for us to annex these provinces and even get some money, maybe even cut some alliances out of this deal. Just like that. Yemen has been annexed, well, most of it anyways, the most important parts anyways. So here we go, we're going to go core that. Our army is ready to march to the north. I believe we still have a co-belligerent in the war against us here. Not sure exactly who it is. It might be Ethiopia. Pretty terrible when I'm like doing a series and I don't even know what's going on, just because it's been so long since I recorded this. As we get closer to where I currently am in terms of in-game progress, commentary will definitely improve as I kind of have a better idea as to what's going on, unfortunately. So again, we are managing our vassal here, our vassal Leinster, who is in, I guess, southern Ireland, very, very far away from, I guess, mainland Jerusalem. For those of you guys who missed the first or second episode where we vassalized them, I think the idea was kind of to eventually diplomatically annex them, or rather integrate them, and then eventually colonize the New World with our Irish port. But the problem is that we're not actually able to integrate Ireland yet because they are so far away due to the fact that we don't have like a port closer by. So eventually we will be able to integrate them. It might take a little while. I guess as a hint to the future, maybe we'll conquer some territory to the west, maybe in Tunisia, open up a port over there so that we can get in range of integrating that particular vassal, and maybe in the future we'll even colonize, who knows. I don't want to say too much, I don't want to spoil the series, so again, just stay tuned, I guess, in the future if you're interested in seeing where this goes. So right now we are figuring out trade. Again, I'm pretty bad at trade. I've put like 1,000 or so hours in this game, and I'm still like pretty unsure as to how it works. Of course, the basic idea is to steer trade to your capital province. But again, I'm not really sure exactly with the inland trade versus sea trade routes. I know inland trade, you get a little bit less power, but again, you know, I'm not exactly an expert on that. So I think I'm just trying to redirect trade to Alexandria at this point. Because I think our capital, which is Jerusalem, is just barely in the Alexandria trade node. And unfortunately, it's in Asia, so I'm not going to be able to core all those nice Asian provinces for cheap, as we are currently already on the province. I guess the good thing is, there's a silver lining, that all of the provinces we conquer to the east are going to be like 100%... or 0% autonomy, I should say. So we'll be able to get the most out of all of those provinces, including any maybe Indonesian provinces, any island provinces that we get through colonization. So again, just try and top off our Papal States rep here, our Papal States diplomacy here, because again, we are a Catholic theocracy. It's very important for us to maintain the Pope's opinion of us. That way we can get some more papal favors to spend on free stability. And we are already at +3 stability, and if you're going to be playing a Jerusalem or the Knights playthrough, it's a really good idea to kind of convert as many provinces as you can, because each time you do, you get like a flat rate of papal influence, which is fantastic for getting those free stability hits. So over here, we made really quick work out of the Egyptians, out of the Mamluks. Again, I guess I mispronounced Mamluks. A few of you guys have corrected me in the previous episode. Don't pay too much attention to my accent. You know, it's an atrocious Southern American accent. So again, you know, I'm not exactly well versed on, you know, the Egyptian dialects or whatever. So again, if you guys have any idea as to how to pronounce these words, feel free to leave it in the comment box below. I'm not sure if any of you guys are watching from Egypt or any other, I guess, Arabic speaking country, but feel free to correct me. I'm always willing to, again, improve in that regard. So over here, we're just double checking, of course, increasing our technology, seeing what Tunis and Ottomans think about us. We're of course, making sure to fabricate as many claims as we can on the Ottomans, just because once we declare war on them, we need to make sure that we can get their cores for cheap. Now on the east, we do have some more Hijazi separatists. Those pesky Hijazis, I wish they were content to live in a Catholic theocracy, but they have some notion, whereas, you know, their religion is not compatible with ours or whatever, but we will put them to the sword if they do not take Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. This is basically a Catholic dystopia, if I'm going to be honest with you guys. You know, the word of the Bible is the law here, and we're not too pleased with all of these surrounding heretics. Of course, usually Sunni and Shiite Muslims are a bit harder to convert in Europa Universalis, so we've got, I think, a negative 2% conversion malice when we try to convert them, but that's okay, because I'm pretty sure it's nullified due to the fact that we have that plus 2 or 3%, I guess, idea bonus just from Jerusalem, which is fantastic. I think it's our traditions, which is always very, very nice in a playthrough where you're going to be surrounded by heretics. Looks like we got some pesky Africans trying to siege down our capital. This is the other co-belligerent. It wasn't Ethiopia. It was like Warsanjali. I don't even know. But modern-day Somalia, basically. We got some Somalian pirates over here trying to take our capital. But the good news is that we've completely annexed, or rather completely occupied, Egypt. So maybe we can just go ahead and make a peace now without having to deal with these pesky Somalian pirates. Let's see. Or actually, that might be in modern-day Eritrea. You know, I'm not exactly sure. This is kind of like a region of the map that I'm not too familiar with. Of course, there's Ethiopia, Somalia, and Eritrea. They're all pretty, you know, Eritrea is a dictatorship. Somalia doesn't have a government. It's like ruled by warlords. And, you know, I guess Ethiopia is like the only beacon of governance there. They actually have a government, which is pretty impressive, I guess, given the alternatives to that region. So, very interesting. I try to talk a little bit about real life, of course, in my Let's Play series, for those of you guys who are returning. And again, yes, my nose is nasal. I know a few guys mentioned that in the last episode. Thing is that my girlfriend brought a cat into our apartment. Thing really pisses me off because I'm allergic to cats like crazy, and it drives me crazy. So again, you'll hear me like breathing through my mouth when I'm, you know, commenting. It's a bit hard to breathe when you can only breathe through your mouth and you have to comment at the same time. But enough of that. We have annexed the Mamelukes. They are part of the kingdom of God, the kingdom of Jerusalem. Look at that. Jerusalem is a huge name, almost as big as the Ottoman Empire. And really, what other goal is there in Europa Universalis than trying to extend your name across the world and make it as big of a font as possible, right? Because there really is no end goal in Europa Universalis. It's basically like a sandbox 4X, you know, game. Of course, we want to expand, exploit, exterminate. And what's the other one? 4X stands for 4 things. I said it in my slow roast video. I kind of forgot. Whatever, it doesn't really matter. But we are expanding, we are exterminating, and we are exploiting our neighbors here in the Middle East with kind of a future sight, kind of like a future vision on the Ottomans. We definitely want to see if we could take some territory over there. They've got some really, really rich provinces, especially in Turkey, modern-day Anatolia. And the Timurids too. You know, the Timurids, of course, they have Samarkand and a few other provinces in the east that are really, really juicy provinces. We're going to want to get our hands on those as well. But for the time being, of course, we have to deal with some Yemeni separatists. Very, very annoying. But, you know, as in real life, when you conquer, I guess, disparate peoples who follow different religions, who don't even look like you, they're going to be a bit pissed off, you know, the first few years after you come in, conquer, and just pillage your way through their country. They don't really feel exactly, I guess, Jerusalem-ish, Jerusalemites. I'm not exactly sure what adjective to use to describe our denizens of this great country. Let's just go with Jerusalemites. I suppose it's a bit better. Any of you guys who are from Israel or from Jerusalem, let me know. Again, I'm not exactly sure what the pronunciation is or the synonym used to describe people from this particular country. Well, I mean, in my game, it's a country. I guess in real life, it's just a city. of course, divided between Israel and Palestine, which is not yet a country. I'm not going to talk about politics that much. I mean, if you guys have watched my other videos, you guys kind of know exactly what I would say if I was going to say it, but I'm going to try to keep this as apolitical as possible, right? Because that's the way to do it. So over here, you guys can listen to some beautiful Palestinian music in the backgrounds. Kind of sped up, though. Kind of like we're on crack. But that's okay. We are about to declare war yet again here in just a minute. This time on Hejaz, right? We've had some Hijazi separatists in the past. Well, it's time to just incorporate this entire rump state into our empire. Really, when is Lebensraum not a good idea, right? I mean, I guess it wasn't a good idea for the Germans when they decided to annex Poland. You know, that kind of started some, I guess, minor conflicts in Europe. So I guess Lebensraum is not always the answer, but in terms of medieval age here, of course, it's like 1542. We don't know any better, right? We are just ignorant. We want to spread Catholicism by the sword. We don't really give a crap or give two shits about the Enlightenment and democracy and secularity. You know, we don't care about that. We want to make sure that everybody, all of our neighbors, follows the law of the land and convert to Catholicism. We all follow the Pope over here. Although eventually it would be nice if we could somehow, you know, invite the Pope to live out his life in Jerusalem. The real power of Catholicism will be here in the East, as I'm fairly sure that continental Europe, maybe not at the moment, but definitely in a few years, I'm pretty sure most of it becomes Protestant. I think the Protestant Reformation really kicks off in this particular playthrough. So, you know, it might be a good thing for us to maybe even vassalize the Papal State. You know, show the Pope who's the real, I guess, head of the religion here. And of course, just kind of converting and cutting our way through the Middle East as always. So again, we need to make sure that our allies are good and happy. I'm trying to more or less prepare our allies for war here with the Ottomans. My end game here in this episode, I guess, or in the next episode, is to eventually prepare for war with the Ottomans. But of course, they have an army of like 80,000 men as compared to our meager army of, let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and round it up a little bit. I think we got maybe close to 20,000 men. Not too good at math. I don't really want to count up all those regiments at the moment. But what really matters, and what's actually consequential here, is that we are absolutely destroying Hejaz. So you guys can see we're just waiting on the siege timers here. I guess I probably should have sped this up a little bit. But if I sped it up, you couldn't hear this amazing music, right? That's, I guess that's the problem with sped up footage here. So I'm about to fall asleep over here. This is a bit boring, watching our men kind of starve out the enemy. Wouldn't blame you if you skipped a few minutes ahead. Again, in the future, I am going to be employing, I guess, sped up Let's Play footage, just like I have here. Just because honestly, I have like 200 gigabytes of, you know, of my Let's Play series here. I think I'm actually up to like the 1700s, maybe the 1650s, 1680s, and honestly, I love this series. I mean, that is why I'm coming back to continue it, just because Jerusalem gets huge. I don't normally blob in EU games. I mean, maybe a little bit in Sweden and Persia, but normally I don't blob too hard, outside of maybe, you know, the Incan Empire Review. I didn't make an actual video about that Let's Play series, but there's a video of the aftermath, and that's kind of the most hardcore I've ever blobbed. So this is kind of a great opportunity to bring the Crusade to the world and try to, you know, again, extend Christianity and kind of entrench it in the global, you know, hegemony or whatever. So anyways, we've just annexed Hejaz. Another one bites the dust. We have taken their 3 provinces, and we are coring them. Of course, now we have like 0 admin power, but that's okay. We don't need admin power. We don't need to improve our administrative efficiency, at least not yet, as we were able to take the amazing admin idea, the second idea, which is called adaptability. I think I went over it in the last episode. Gives me a negative 25% modifier towards coring costs. Almost, I think at this point, it's pretty much necessary. And I'm not sure actually in Mare Nostrum, because maybe, just maybe, they might have changed it. I know they've been trying to beef up espionage, because that tree was basically useless before Mare Nostrum. Nobody ever picked it. Pretty much a waste of points. So now that, you know, fabricating claims is tied to spy networks, which honestly I have no idea how they work, it might make it a little bit more viable, I think. which is always a cool thing. So here, as you guys can see, those yellow lines are all of our claims that we have on our neighbors. And the good news is that we've basically laid a claim on everything that's adjacent to our main land over here, outside of that little, I guess, Dulkadir territory that we've got in Turkey, in Anatolia. And now for those of you guys who are new to the series, again, I was not able to go to war with the Ottomans previously. That is just a province I took from, you know, Arkalan or Arkadan, or one of those little minor kind of Turkish, you know, republics or whatever that spawn in the game before the Ottomans inevitably destroy and eat them. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, right? I mean, I know it was a little bit disorganized. You guys will have to give me, like, you know, an episode or two to catch up with what I've been doing. I'm going to go over some more of the footage to kind of get a good idea of what's going on so that I'm not kind of, you know, pulling this out of my butt or anything. You know, again, I'm trying to give you guys good commentary, but sometimes it's really hard. Again, I recorded this like 3 or 4 weeks ago, so thank you guys so much for waiting. I know it's been a while. I know a few of you guys have been really kind of chomping at the bit for this particular series to continue, and no worries, it will. So again, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned for episode 6. I will see you guys there. Take care.